Gemima Dark and the Arcanatorium. By Princess Indigo. Chapter 7. Home Truths. "She hasn't got a head," exclaimed Gemima, unwrapping her sandwiches, as Ampersand wheeled the corpse into the basement. "We couldn't find it," replied Ampersand indifferently, as she pushed the trolley right up to the furnace, and pushed open the latch with a stick leant up against the wall, filling the room with an orange glow. Ampersand loosened her tie and undid the jacket of her uniform, then stared at the flames, lost in her own private thoughts. A veteran of the intimidating building, that so unnerved the new arrival. "Aren't you going to put her in?" asked Gemima, as Ampersand pulled over a crate of Arcanatorium brand cat food and sat down beside her, retrieving her own sandwiches and flask of tea that she had previously stashed in Jemima's saddle bag. "I'm on a break. Burning corpses can wait until I've had my sandwiches," said Ampersand bluntly, and poured them both a cup of tea and immediately began eating. "She's a bit ruddy ripe. What happened to her?" said Gemima, wrinkling up her nose, as the heat from the incinerator wafted the pungent, overly sweet smell towards them. "She was trying to escape through the air conditioning ducts, and had an unfortunate disagreement with one of the big bloody fans. She was stuck up there for days, until we found her," explained Ampersand between mouthfuls, and then drank some tea to help wash it down. "Is this place as bad as everyone says? Is that why she was trying to escape?" asked Gemima reluctantly, as she took out another sandwich from its wrapping. "Up close, it's worse. People just assume it's bad, but most of them never get to see inside. It's a crumbling, dirty, overpopulated, badly run shit pile they should have pulled down 100 years ago. It leaves you hard-hearted, hopeless, or just plain crazy, and that's just the staff. None of us work here because we want to, we're here because we don't have a choice," said Ampersand quite bitterly, and kicked out at a passing rat, sending it fleeing back into the shadows. "Oh," said Gemima simply, not liking the answer very much at all. "How many people are here?" she asked, after taking a long look at Ampersand and being unable to guess what her story was, and whether to feel sorry for her, or just plain afraid of her. "There's about 10,000 residents here, plus the staff. It's just a bloody great big brick box, with a garden in the middle. There's about 4,000 in the east and west wings. Then there's 500 residents with connections or money, that live in the south face. The rest are the dregs, rejects and no-hopers who live in the north face. Most of the staff live out in Guillotine Village. It's not much, but it's nicer than this awful goddamn shithole," said Ampersand, taking a mini pork pie from the saddlebag and setting to work on it. "How long have you been here?" asked Gemima, getting a jam donut from the saddlebag, and taking tiny bites from it to make the small source of comfort last as long as she possibly could. "About 5 years. I was a sports teacher before I ended up here. A sports teacher with a drink problem, who was stupid enough to get found out and lose her bloody job." It was only then Ampersand got up silently, and searched in some nearby drawers for a pair of dirty gardening gloves, then went over and pushed the trolley as close to the incinerator as it could get. Gemima watched in morbid fascination, as Ampersand locked down the wheels, grabbed the corpse's clothing and slowly edged the inert body closer and closer to the open furnace door, keeping a guiding hand as the cadaver slid off the trolley and into the waiting flames. The final part of the macabre proceedings required Ampersand to retrieve a nearby shovel and use it to push in the 2 legs that were sticking out of the furnace in a most ridiculous manner. Slamming the heavy door shut, returning the gloves and shovel to their respective homes, she washed her hands repeatedly in the grimy sink, and said over her shoulder, "What about you, Gemima? I haven't had chance to read your notes. Why have you come to our lovely Arcanatorium?" said Ampersand a little matter-of-factly. "My parents were murdered just before my 18th birthday. I don't remember anything about what happened, but I woke up in hospital a year later with a broken back, and more medical bills than you can poke a stick at," said Gemima quietly. "No one else would have me, so they bloody sent me here." You have been listening to Gemima Dark and the Arcanatorium by Princess Indigo. Read by Treacle81. The theme music is Marionette by Felix Arndt. Oh my God, poor Gemima. I had no idea she'd been through such tragic tribulations. I was going to serve Battenberg cake today, but that will not do at all. It will have to be my very best chocolate gâteau, with piping hot Earl Grey tea, if we are going to survive such heartbreaking revelations. There is one final thing that is on my mind. I keep imagining that Ampersand is from Yorkshire. Probably Leeds or Sheffield, I can't decide. I will have to write to the author and make sure I'm not going crazy. I promise I'll let you know what she says. Lots of love and kisses. Until our next encounter, Treacle.